we need to start with a definition. We are going to start with the definition of truth. Now, I know that sounds obvious. We all think we know what it means for something to be true, but in this day and age, there are so many different interpretations of it. So let me just tell you that truth means in accordance with fact or reality. Honestly, I think it's just too vague. There's not enough there. There's all sorts of things that are factual, right? There are all sorts of things that are in accordance with realities, and we accept them that as being true, but they're actually hurting us. They're actually holding us back, even though they are quote unquote true by definition. Let me give you some examples of that. So, 1.1 million people were laid off in 2025. That's a pretty interesting fact, right? It is based in reality. It is true. Let's go one step further. The US has the highest unemployment this year in 2025 since the pandemic. Again, it's true. But my question is, the reason that I think this is just too vague to be considered truth is, how do those two stats make you act? When you hear facts like this, how do you operate, right? What is your next step when you know that that many people have been laid off in 2025? What's your next step when you know that we have the highest unemployment in several years and the last marker is a global pandemic? How is that going to make you act? Because when you feel like the world is just rigged against you, you start acting like it's true. You start to ask yourself, what's the point of trying? What's the point of doing well? All the stats are telling us that things are getting squeezed, right? Probably going to lose my job anyways. I'm certainly not going to get some opportunities or get promoted because companies are just shrinking down. So what's the point in putting in this extra effort? Right? You hear these facts that apply to other people. They're applying to other people out in the world, out in this country, and you create them as a fact, as a truth for yourself. It's like when you hear that kids potty train at around 18 months old, right? So you heard that, you know that kids potty train around that time. And so that is then when you act, that's when you start potty training your kid. Now, lo and behold, your kid is potty trained at 18 months. You've just become part of the statistic. Meanwhile, there are thousands of people, literally thousands of people who potty train infants. Infants, they are not waiting for them to be toddlers. They are not waiting for them to walk around and be able to tell someone that they need to use the bathroom. They're looking for cues to be able to move them on to that next step way earlier. But because the truth is, the fact is that most kiddos hit that milestone a little bit later, we start to act like that's the only truth there is. So then it becomes true for us. Now, I want you to think of another kid, all right? Not an 18-month-old kid. I want you to think of your kid, or maybe your niece or nephew, or maybe a kid of a close friend of yours, and how they are acting this week, right? At the time I'm recording this, we have Christmas coming in just a few short days. How is that kiddo going to act on Christmas is? Because the truth is, there will be gifts from the big guy under the tree in the morning, right? The truth is that the cookies that they set out are going to be partially eaten. That milk is going to be all but gone. And the carrots that they put out on the porch for the reindeer, those are going to be nibbled on for sure. But the most important thing is what they expected to happen. Those presents that they had been hoping for, wishing for, adding to their lists are going to be under the tree. That's the truth. There will be cookie crumbs. There will be carrot pieces. There will be gifts. Those things are supported by facts. They're supported by realities. Now, there are too many kids and not enough hours, and certainly not enough chimneys, but they aren't thinking about all of that. They aren't thinking about the logistics and what could possibly hold this back, because the fact is that their reality speaks to them. They believe in that truth. They don't care that there are all of these little stats around that aren't going to add up. And because of that, because they know what their truth is, they can feel that anticipation. They feel what they expect will happen on Christmas morning is going to happen. They might have a little bit of anxiety, right? It might be a little bit mixed with excitement, but they're going to act in accordance with those feelings. They're going to put out the milk and cookies because they know what happens. They're going to go to bed even when they really want to stay up all night and watch out the window because it's not worth the risk because they know the truth, right? But somewhere along the way, we lost that. We lost that expectation, that faith in the truth and how it would help us, how it would advance our mission, right? We don't often think of kids as having a mission with Christmas, but they do. They know that what's good for them is to get those gifts that they were hoping for. And therefore, they are not allowing any sort of negativity into their little brains, right? Their truth stands firm. But somewhere along the way, we started looking for roadblocks. We started paying too much attention to the population on the planet and how logistically it just doesn't add up. We started focusing on things like why this isn't going to work, how it's going to be hard. We started questioning all of the logistics. Somewhere along the way, we started acting in accordance with that new truth. The one that says that this time of year is stressful. The one that says that there is a lot of work and not enough time. The one that's telling you that it isn't worth it to go that extra mile in your job because people are just getting laid off anyways. Now, I want to present to you some new truths, not truths about the Christmas season, not truths about the magic. I trust that your kids can teach you enough lessons about that. But I want to give you some new truths that are going to help you step into who you are meant to be in your career and that anticipation that you maybe felt when you first started your job, maybe when you first graduated college, maybe you have to go all the way back to middle school and high school where people were asking you continuously who you wanted to be when you grew up. I want you to go back to that feeling of possibility and anticipation for where you are going to go. So, your new truths, the new facts that are actually going to help you to advance those goals, no matter where you are in your career right now. We know that when you believe a truth, you start to act into accordance with it, right? So when you start believing these next three truths, you can start acting that way too. All right, number one, the number one thing that I want you to believe as your truth, because it is supported in reality and fact, people are promoted every single day, right? Every day. They are smart, right? Yep, they are talented. And even when they aren't, they can communicate their value. They're taking what they have and what they stand for, what they've accomplished, and they are able to transform that into what it can do for the company, what it can do for the others around them. And they are turning that into promotions. Literally every day this is happening. There might be a million people who are laid off, but it doesn't happen to everyone. And there are people who are turning that into opportunity, and that can be you too. If it's happening for them, why not have it happen for you, right? If we're going to think that the world is rigged, why not have the thought that it is rigged in our favor? People are getting promoted every single day, and you can be one of them. All right, number two, there's actually someone right now who is making more money than you, who has more influence. They're invited to more tables, and they're actually nowhere near as good as you are, right? I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but they have less skills. They have a lower bandwidth. They probably have worse innovation and worse culture, but they're doing the thing. And I would put money on the fact that you probably just pictured them. You probably know exactly who I'm talking about. They either work at your current employer or maybe at a past employer. Maybe you have more than one. You know all sorts of people who are in their roles and they're not as good as you are, But somehow someone gave them a megaphone and a whole pile extra money, and you are sort of left in the dust. Now, if they're doing it, why aren't you? And a little tough love here for you. If you can picture that person and you do know that they have more influence than you have, you are, in a sense, robbing other people of what it would be like to work for you, what it would be like to work under your vision, under your mission. You are leaving these people with this subpar version. And you need to step into your abilities so that all of those other people get the benefit of working with you. Okay, that's kind of a bonus truth that if you are allowing somebody else who's not as good as you to step into that role, that you're actually doing a disservice to everybody that they come in contact with. All right, number 3. Those people are promoted, both the ones who aren't nearly as good as you and the ones that you do know have the skills and the talent to be in their role, but they got promoted either way because they had the audacity to expect it, right? You have a list long as your arm, or maybe long as your kid's Christmas list, of the accomplishments that you have done over the years, and you're hiding them. You are holding them back. Show those off. Communicate them in a way that shows everybody what you are capable of. Have the audacity to step into who they need you to be because of who you have already been. Get some freaking audacity. That is my soapbox to the end of the days, is that I need you to believe in the power of what you have and what you have to offer. When you walk around believing that, number 1, people are promoted every single day. Number 2, someone is doing worse than me right now, and it is my duty to fix that. And number 3, they are only in the role because they expected that they would get it and they could do it. Then you will start to act like it, my friend. Just like the kid sending out the list, just like the kid putting milk and cookies out, they always knew that it would work. So why would they stop doing it now? You are going to enter that performance review with that same energy, right? You are going to go in comparing your results to those in higher positions than yours. You are going to show that you are on par with the elite, not the faceless masses, not the statistics. You are going to raise the bar for everyone around you, right? You're going to go in there saying, it's actually not tolerable to do the bare minimum, Jim. We are breaking production records here, and we're doing it with best-in-class customer service. You are going to build your portfolio of evidence that proves you are overdue for a promotion, and be excited to tell your boss about it because you know what he can get when he gives you more authority and more money. It's really a benefit to him that he puts you in charge of more things, bigger department, have more influence, right? That is the attitude that I want you to walk away with. That is the same attitude that your kids have on Christmas Eve. We aren't tracking the logistics. We're not looking for the roadblocks and the reasons why this isn't going to work. We don't care about the stats. The expectation is that you will get what you asked for, and then you are going to accept it with gratitude, right? If you want that feeling, if you want to walk into the meeting with confidence, with the air of course, in the face of layoffs, it's in your best interest to promote me, then I am working on something that is just for you. In January, we are going to be launching a hybrid course and coaching program that supports you through all of those logistics, all of those roadblocks, so that you get the promotion and the status that you deserve. Not to mention the healthy team culture to go along with it. Honestly, it's not on sale yet, but if you want to be one of the first people to hear about it when it is, click the link below and tell me some of your thoughts. I want to be able to help you move past all of those roadblocks and logistics that are going to make it difficult and support you in the best way possible. So click the link, give me your feedback, and let's build something that is just perfect to make this dream that we just created, this truth, a reality.